All right, you sons of guns. Today we're talking about the best Bethesda game that you have never played. Why, Maddie? Why? I've played all the Bethesda games. You do a ton of Bethesda coverage here. Of course I've been on top of it. No, you haven't, okay? And if you have ended up playing this game, I'm here just to kind of remind you that it's awesome, and that's really it. So we're talking about Arcane Studios. Arcane Studios, I think, is Bethesda's best developer when you look at it objectively. My favorite is Bethesda Game Studios, but I think Arcane Studios literally never misses. They are always putting out immersive sim, first-person titles that are highly interactive and replayable. I love each and every single one of them, from Dishonored 1 to Dishonored 2, Death of the Outsider, Prey, so on and so forth. I'm a little on Deathloop, and I'm a little on Redfall, but we'll see about Redfall. Anyway, we're talking about Prey today. Prey's been out for like 5 years. I got around to it. I got Game Pass. But I think a lot of people missed out on a particular experience in Prey. Now, when it comes to base game Prey, I sat down, I played that for my review in 2017. I was sort of the middle of the road for it. I liked a lot of its gameplay design, I liked a lot of its world, but I wasn't crazy about the story choices, and there were moments that game was hard as nails because of me choosing the Typhon abilities. So there is a level of choice and consequence that I didn't think was conveyed to the player quite well. But I think that Prey, as the years go on, is a underappreciated game that is starting to get its roses more and more. It was one of the most popular games on Game Pass when the Bethesda acquisition was completed, and for good reason. However, while I can sit here and sing the praises of Prey, what I want to do is actually focus on an experience I don't think many of you have gone through, and if you have, join me in talking about Prey Mooncrash. I recently went back to this one, and I was reminded of a spiritual experience flowing through me in pure peak fiction. And I thought, well, I've noticed that the investment in Bethesda content here on this channel has been sky high because of Starfield and everything. And what better sci-fi game to point a ton of people to who are interested in Starfield than Prey? Particularly, though, if you have yet to play Mooncrash and you like Prey, I'm here to tell you why. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into Bethesda-style content, consider subscribing. Now, let's talk about Prey Mooncrash. What is Prey Mooncrash? Stick with me here, okay? Just bear with me here. It does have roguelike elements. I hate roguelike games. I've given 1,000,001 of them a chance. None of them land. It's very rare when they do. And if you paid very close attention to my taste, you know when they do land, it's because it's something God tier, okay? Hades, for example. Excellent video game, excellent roguelike. Tolerated, replayed it, beat it multiple times. Wonderful game. Prey Mooncrash, though, was my awakening because it's AAA roguelike. So instead of just taking a bunch of elements and having it randomly throw itself at you and say, hey, hope you get lucky, Prey Mooncrash is a finely tuned experience with a level of consistency and progression within its roguelike elements that starts to strip the roguelike elements out of it and make it a much more consistent experience. What do I mean? Let's dive into the nitty-gritty. So the reason this is a roguelike is because of a simulation you're in. When you begin a simulation, you can pick one of 5 character classes. What they've effectively done at Arcane is they took the main character from the base game, all their abilities, all their stats, and kind of split them up into a diversity of character classes. This immediately is a flex to how amazing the gameplay design of the base game is, that each character can feel distinct and unique with their own sets of limitations. Each of them have a starting loadout, a starting set of abilities, and they have a story objective. That story objective you're going to try to accomplish in order to move things forward. And the goal is to escape from the simulation as each of these character classes in one set run. And if one dies, you reset the simulation. Now, what I love about this game is when you reset the simulation, it's not like this body is now over in this cell over here, and this key card is over here now. There's not that level of randomization. Every piece of loot is consistently around the map. The map's not constantly changing. What's changing is your character encounters, the leveling, and the pace at which you're going at. So what happens is as you're exploring the simulation, you'll see on the top corner of the screen that a level will start to gradually increase, and it'll increase level after level after level. And what's happening here is your threat is actually going to increase more and more. So in subsequent runs, things are going to be even more dangerous, taking Prey Mooncrash from a casual stealth experience to something extremely hardcore and riveting. And all of the progress you make in previous runs will carry over. So let's say I took out the moon shark, which is terrifying. The sound design in Prey I gotta talk about in just a moment here. This moon shark is terrifying, and he's right at the heart of your entrance to so many different areas in Prey Mooncrash. But if you take him out in one of your runs, not gonna be a problem down the line. That's good stuff. So there is that thoughtfulness in the design here. But what you're going to see in Prey Mooncrash as you go run after run after run is elements of Deathloop. I am going to try to remain positive here, but those of you who watched my Deathloop review know that I called this Arcane's most underwhelming game yet. That's not to say it's bad, because even Arcane's, I put this in quotes, worst game was still a solid video game. But what it did effectively was took every element of Prey Mooncrash, its randomization with its level of consistency, and brought it into a full AAA game, turned it into a new IP. And there are even elements you can see going back to Prey Mooncrash that clearly mirror that the same team that was behind Mooncrash had ushered things into Deathloop, down to even the family you play as in this game is eerily familiar. But anyway, Deathloop was a game that I thought did not take those ideas and evolve them, and in fact, I felt regressed them, which is very interesting because for Prey Mooncrash to be an expansion and do more with its ideas than something like Deathloop, you'd think with the budget and the mindset behind, like, let's go all in on this, it would explore it more, but I think it actually did less. And that was one of the strong reasons why I was very anti-Deathloop. A lot of people didn't understand that, and what I read in the comments spoke to me, which was, I never played Prey Mooncrash. So that's why I'm here, of course, today. So to those of you who did enjoy Deathloop, you not only have a similar experience here, but I think a much better one. Because the simulation plays in the story. It's trippy. Why are you doing this? Why'd you sign up for this? You're apparently a criminal. You're doing this for your family. You see pictures of your family all over. Obviously, Arcane are fantastic environmental storytellers, but I think Prey is definitely their best told story directly to you. And I feel like Prey Mooncrash builds off that a lot with its more psychological element, the more mind-twisty element. It is downright wonderful on a narrative level, and it makes the gameplay worth investing in. So as you're going run after run after run, let's talk about progression. You have these character classes, and you'll get these things called sim points. Sim points are important because as you complete objectives, kill enemies, pretty much do anything, these points will gather. And as you explore the facilities, you're going to find your weapons, you're going to find your blueprints, you're going to find all manner of things that you will be able to buy again with your sim points to then start off your run with. So what is great about this is that as you go deeper into the game, and let's say that level on the top corner of the screen begins to raise and it's level 3 as you complete a run, I'm going to go ahead and buy an elite shotgun with a bunch of shells to start off my run here because I'm going to need this big time because the enemies are going to be stronger off the get-go, but I'm going to have a starting loadout that's not that great. So it's so well thought out on that level. And again, when you think about the difference in kits, there is a level of replayability here that even if you beat the game, it is still so fun to go back to because you have certain characters that have access to Typhon abilities, certain characters that have like a wrench or a hacking ability, and so accessing certain parts of the station is better for them. It is just a level of thoughtfulness that is very rare in video games, and it's why I've championed Arcane since Dishonored 1 came out, because their games are built in a way that you could play them once and walk away, but also if you take a break from them and you come back, you could play it an entirely different way. And I feel like Prey Mooncrash, despite being roguelike, really embodies all of that because it feels like a truly handcrafted experience with just some random elements here or there. The most random elements you'll encounter are the enemies. Sometimes they're not always in the same place, but many of them are. Like when you go to the containment chambers, they're all locked in there. You can choose to open them or not if you would like to. But the most random element that you really do encounter is not only the level increasing, which increases your threat, but it's really the weapons you'll find on the ground and when you want to loot things, because if you take the loot out of one area, it's gone for another player. So you want to be considerate of what you do pick up, which I really liked about this game. Like grabbing every bit of ammo, every bit of food, when you don't really need it, isn't necessary. And you'll catch yourself in that gamer autopilot mode, like, oh, a banana, I'm gonna eat that. I already have full health, but whatever. And when this game is already dangerous and difficult, that banana could help a lot. And I know that's hilarious to say, but seriously, it's that level of thoughtfulness that again really carries this experience. And you combine that with Wonderful environmental storytelling, some transcribes you can find on the ground that'll give you audio-based storytelling, notes on the wall. And on the note of the sound design, oh my God, you want to talk about something that gets better with age? This is really it. I always thought that the sound in Prey was really good, particularly things like the Typhon footsteps, which were both brooding yet helpful to the player. And there was a moment where a Typhon was walking into a room, and it was an electric one, and the lights started to flicker as it stomped closer toward me, and I was legitimately paralyzed with fear. And it was that mixture of environmental effects responding to an enemy, the stomping, all coming together. Absolutely incredible moment. And this is just one of those moment-to-moment gameplay instances. It's not even one of the major highlights, and it's just what makes Prey continuously special. I was reminded when replaying this, I can't get over the environmental detail in this game. Every wall calls for your attention. And look, I'm a huge Dishonored fan, but it's got nothing on Prey when it comes to looking at the walls, looking at the codes that are on the wall, what they mean. Everything is designed with pure intent, and it's fascinating how cohesive it all truly is, how it all meshes together and works, because you got to think this is a big enough team where there's so many different minds on the project: writers, level designers, environmental designers, gameplay designers, programmers. They're all like coming together, and it just feels like an experience that really gels. It's why I celebrate Arcane in particular, because I do sort of bemoan where they're heading as a company, where they're heading less linear, they're heading more open world, more accessibility. And I get it, because their games historically haven't done well, but they're like one of the last standing true single player linear developers. And I feel like Prey Mooncrash was like a sayonara to an era that I was not aware was kind of gonna end. Because to me, Prey Mooncrash is just a top tier experience that a lot of people owe it to themselves to play. If you have Prey in Game Pass, this is worth the price of admission. It was 20 bucks when I bought it, and I do not regret it. It's some of the best 20 bucks you could spend, and I do think that this game got a bit overshadowed, unfortunately, because around the time that Mooncrash came out, we were talking about Fallout 76, and it was at that time, it was just pure Fallout hype, and like wondering what was gonna happen with the Fallout license. Eventually, the news broke that it was gonna be an online game. Interest tanked, as expected. Honestly, to me, I think that that part of the conversation overshadowed the release of Mooncrash, which hilariously was one of the best games of 2018. 2018 had a lot of great games, but man, oh man alive, did Prey Mooncrash ever deliver a Game of the Year-like experience. So if you want something that, if you're like me, you're not really into roguelikes, this will get you over that hump. Not that you even have to like the whole genre, but this is one of those experiences, a special experience that you play and you love, and it's a very individualized, special occasion. That's the type of experience you're getting for those who don't like roguelikes, like me. You're also getting something that's handcrafted for the most part, that's highly replayable, very thoughtful, and it's the beginning of an idea that many of you seem to love, which is Deathloop. And if you love Deathloop, go back and play this and then play Deathloop again and tell me Deathloop's better. That's all I gotta say, because to me, I think Prey Mooncrash blows it out of the water. With its thoughtfulness, with its interconnectivity, with its replayability, sometimes you can't find the words. So I just wanted to share that here in today's video. Those are my thoughts on Prey Mooncrash, what I believe is the best Bethesda game you've never played. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, have you played Prey Mooncrash? If so, please join me in sounding off down below on why this is a must-play experience. Otherwise, I'll be greatly upset. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.